All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Hi, my name is Kayla Dockery. I am the chairperson of the exam prep program. I am one of the leaders of this program. I have two other co-leaders who may not be able to join us this evening, but their names are James King and John Applewhite. And together we created this program for students who are sitting for actuarial exams and who may face some barriers while taking these exams. So we hope to accomplish the awareness for the exam prep, and also um, we hope to help financially students sit for the exams with materials and also paying for the exam. So please bear with me because as I'm talking, I have to admit people into the meeting. Thank you. Hi, Valerie. Nice to see your face on the camera. All right. So basically, this meeting today is a pretty much an informational meeting. It's going to be pretty informal. No structure as far as presentations. We just want to really have this time for you all to ask any questions about the program, just to get like a strong understanding of what the program consists of, what the requirements are, and what we expect of the participants. So at any moment, if I say something that you don't understand, please chime in and ask questions. It's a really engaging conversation that I would like to have with you all this evening. All right, so um, first I just wonder, I think we can do just by a show of hands, how many people on the call have already applied for the exam prep? So I think you can just do a reaction on the Zoom. Okay, so we got two. Okay, so two people so far. Three, four, okay, got one there. Great. Okay, awesome. So we had at least about 4 or 5. That's great. So at any point before we jump in, um, has anyone sat for any exams? Show a hand, okay. Got one, two, okay. Awesome. Very good. So I'll give a little bit information about IBA if you aren't familiar. So myself, I've been a part of IBA going on 12 years now. And with IBA, there are multiple resources available for students. We have scholarships, we have exam prep program, which is one of the newer programs. You all would be the third group of students where we're so excited about that. IB also has mentorship programs where they will match you up with a mentor depending on where you are as far as in your career. If you're a student, if you actually are working, they would do their best with matching you. So I have found IB very helpful, and also I attend most of the annual meetings. So we have annual meetings every year, and with those meetings, you go and you pretty much network with you can network with your peers. So you have other actuarial students who attend these meetings and this conference. You have working professionals, so you have entry level, you have managers, you have credentialed actuaries. So we all pretty much just come together and just celebrate the accomplishments over the year. So as we sit for exams throughout the year, we hope to pass. So with these annual meetings, IBA sets a time to acknowledge the students and the members who pass exams. So it's a really beautiful celebration. So as far as exam prep, our application is closing on February 22nd. And with that application, I believe there's like a few questions we ask during the process. And then we also ask for a recommendation letter from whoever you choose. Probably preferred if you have a professor who can speak to some of your, some of your talents, or if maybe a manager or a job. It's nothing so specific as far as the reference letter, but it's a pretty light application, I would say. And we will let students know. I'm going to pull up my timeline. So students would know, one moment. students will know by March 10th whether or not they've been accepted in the program. And by March 17th, we would ask for the students to confirm if they are still interested. So hopefully in this meeting, I really want to get any questions that you have, because what we've seen in the past, some students will start the program and we had a different setting before it. So in the past, the students were taking the exam and it was in October. So they had the whole summer to study, but once August started, school started. So it was hard for the students to balance their classwork with exam studying. So this time we're changing the timeline and we're asking for students to take the exam in August. So students will have to take the exam in August. So now instead of studying when you are starting a new semester, you would have already been in your semester. So we're hoping that the students with this iteration will understand their current capacity and their current obligations, and could be a good judgment on whether or not they could actually set aside time to study for this exam. So hopefully, if you have any questions about capacity and how you can juggle your responsibilities with class, or if you think that you may not have the time for this program, please just ask questions throughout. I think that was the main concern that most students had in the past. So some students would start the program and then they would have to drop because they had to choose between finals and an exam. So we want to make sure that we are giving enough information up front so that you understand the requirements, and you can also, know whether or not you should continue. So I'm going to pause there and ask anyone, does anyone have any questions on anything I've said so far? Okay.
Yes.
And if you, okay, yes.
Yes, my name is Emmanuel.
Hi, Emmanuel.
Yeah. Okay. It is about the application. Okay. I applied to, okay, I registered for this exam prep. So the application, I don't know more much about it. So if you can tell me more, or maybe a link where I can just have it so that I can go and register for that too.
Okay. Okay, so did you say you've already applied for the program?
Yes, I did a registration, but I don't know if that is the same thing, because you spoke about a reference letter, and I didn't get that question in the.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you didn't see anything about a reference or recommendation letter?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it. So I think we had some type of disconnect on the link. So one link actually, I think, sent students to the old application, and the other link was more updated and it had the recommendation letter request. So what I'm gonna do, I don't know if I have all you all's emails because I didn't set up this meeting. Morgan did. I'm going to ask Morgan to send everyone just like the most current link, just to make sure that all the students, you all have the right application.
Okay, all right.
I would do that. And she should be able to send that to you sometime before tomorrow, end of day.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Kevin, yes, you have a question?
Oh yeah, I'm going along what he just said. I had a similar problem where on the application I finished everything, and there wasn't a section asking for my letter of recommendation.
Okay.
So I think that's the only thing I need. I mean, I have it handy, so.
Okay, so you didn't see it, but if you can get one.
No, the funny thing is I saw it at first and then it disappeared. So I was just like, I guess they removed it. So I just submitted it.
Okay, got it. Thank you for that. Yeah, there was a disconnect on the links. I think one link took it to an expired application, which didn't ask for the recommendation letter, and the other link had the right questions. So that is good to know. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's see. So by a show of hands, and you can use the I'm sorry, let's see. Pamela? Yes, sure, go ahead. You have a question? Pamela, let's see, let's read. I applied but didn't get a reply. Pamela, can you hear me? Can you just type inside the chat box if you can hear me or not? Okay, so I don't think we have in like a reply or an auto reply that will let you know that we received your application. Maybe when you submit it, does some type of pop-up that says submit appear on the screen? I'm not absolutely sure what pops up once you submit. So can anyone like chime in if once they submitted their application, did any message pop up?
Yes, when you submit your application, like something like that will pop up, like you've submitted the application. I had one question. I don't know whether I can go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah,
just one second. Thank you for adding that. So Pamela, you would hear whether or not you were accepted in the program by March 10th. That's when we would email the students and let you all know like who's been accepted. So you won't hear anything before then. Is that fine? Do you have another question? Okay, no problem. You're welcome. Okay, so I didn't see who just spoke. So if you want to ask your question, you have the floor.
Great, thank you very much. I wanted to know, I did submit like mistakenly one application, and then I made a mistake in it, and then I'd wanted to correct it. I don't know whether you guys can allow that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we want to make sure we have the right application. So maybe if you can email Morgan. Do you have Morgan's email address?
Morgan's email address.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I have an email address.
Yeah, so can you email her and let her know like what kind of error you made on the application so that we can make sure that we are reviewing the most accurate?
All right, okay, I'll do that.
Okay, because we can clear that up pretty easily.
All right.
All righty. Did anyone else have a question before we? Okay. So I just want to get an idea of. Anyone have a question? Okay. I just want to take a quick survey and just understand how many of you all might have already or might be actuarial majors. So do we have any actuarial science majors on the call? Okay, so far 1, 3. Okay, a good number. 3. Okay. Okay, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, so some of you are familiar with the process of the exams and how many exams it may take to become a credentialed actuary. All right, so for those who may not know, these actuarial exams require a significant amount of time, and it is a big commitment to study for these exams. The recommendation from the SOA and the CAS, and the SOA, by the way, it stands for the Society of Actuaries, and the CAS stands for Casualty Actuarial Society. So we have two different organizations. One focuses on health and life insurance, while the other organization focuses on car and auto and home insurance, and the more of the other casualty lines. So they both have their own designation tracks, so they don't have all the same exams. There may be a few exams that cross over. I believe exam P and exam FM will qualify for both designations, but they pretty much have their separate exam track. So what these organizations recommend for these exams, they recommend to study 100 hours per hour on your exam. Meaning, if your exam is a 3-hour long exam, they would recommend for a student to study 300 hours. So 300 hours can be broken down in multiple ways. And, that's not universal. It's just like a guideline. Some people may need only 200 hours, while others may need 400 hours. So it's not a one size fit all. It's more of just a target. So we do ask for students to study the 100 hours per hour of the exam for this program. So exam FM is typically the second exam taken, but you can take any of these exams in any different order. The first exam is exam P, which is exam probability. It is a somewhat challenging exam. And I would say most of these exams are pretty tough just because of the time commitment. And if a student has not had that exposure to that type of math, then it just takes some time just to study, but completely up to the students, capacity and aptitude. But we just ask for students to study the 100 hours per hour of the exam. And we're asking for students to commit to 20 weeks to study for the exam. So some students may want to study 4 hours a day, 3 days a week. Some students may want to study 2 days every day. We don't have any targets or any guidelines on how many hours you study a day. We leave that to the student, but we do assign a mentor to each student in the program so that you are bouncing ideas with your mentor, getting some type of advice if you find yourself having a challenge with meeting your study hours. We hope that with this, again, I'm going to say we hope that students would have a really great grasp on their schedules and know whether or not they can commit this time to study for this exam with their current obligations. I'm going to take another pause, and I'm going to let you ask any questions on anything I've just said, if you have any.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm late to this. I'm sorry. In terms of I'm not too sure of like what did you cover earlier. So I am actually a career changer. So I'm a math teacher. So I just wanted to know like what would my process be in regards to the application, since I've finished school a long time ago.
Are you currently like in graduate school or?
I already have my master's, but it's in school counseling.
Okay.
So I'm trying to change into the actual career. Yeah.
I see. So typically what we've had targeted for this program were students. So whether or not you were a current graduate student or a current undergraduate student, we would sponsor those students. But IBA might have resources for career changers. I know personally a few career changers who have done some type of volunteering with IBA or gotten some type of resource from IBA. But I think at the moment for the exam program, it is geared towards current students.
Okay.
I would encourage you to, and how do you pronounce your name? I don't want to.
Pascal.
Pascal? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pascal, do you have Morgan's email address?
No, I do not.
Okay, I'm going to drop Morgan's email address in the chat, and I'll talk to Morgan and tell her about you, and then maybe Morgan will have more information on what we can do for career changers.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, so I don't know if you're going to drop, but I'm going to get her email and just drop it to you in the chat.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay. Miss Morgan.
Okay, I got it.
All righty.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.
No problem. Same to you. Take care. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes.
All right.
Will study materials be shared when we start the exam prep program?
Yes. So as far as timelines, we will let students know by March 10th, and then students will let us know to confirm their acceptance by March 17th. Orientation would be we would have orientation on March 27th. And after March 27th, we're going to send you all links to register for coaching actuaries. So
Okay.
once you will, so the access to the study materials will come either the same night of the kickoff or the next day.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Let's see. And another requirement of the program, we have these weekly sessions. And in the weekly sessions, that's where all the students will meet with the student facilitator. And it's basically a Zoom call. And you're bringing any questions you may have from the assignments, the quizzes, or any challenging topics you may be facing. You just bring them to that meeting and hope to network with your peers and the student facilitator to get some clarity on whatever concern you might be having with whatever during the exam. It's basically just another layer of support so that you feel that you have, your peers going through the same thing you're going through. And those meetings are an hour long, and we have them on Wednesdays. And I believe the time would be 7 p.m. Central timing. What else? And as far as coaching actuaries, if you're not familiar with the material, it's an online platform, and it has video tutorials on the material. They may have a PDF version of the materials where you can study and read it through slides, but I believe it's mostly videos explaining to you the material. And then they have a lot of practice questions, and you can even create your own quizzes. You can do practice exams. It's a really great, reputable tool that a lot of actuaries have used to pass their exams. And we're just happy to have that partnership with Coaching Actuaries. And they're also going to attend the meeting so that they can answer any questions that we all might have with the platform. And I believe maybe towards mid-program, they may have one of their reps join a meeting to further give some type of guidance on material. That's not confirmed yet. They said that in the past, if we ever needed that, they would be willing to do it. We hadn't had to take them up on that offer, but that's one of the resources that we have available. And what else? Mentors. So in this program, you're also going to be assigned a mentor. I said that earlier. And basically with your mentor, it's up to the students to make sure that they are, carrying the conversation. Come to your mentor with any type of questions and concerns you may have. The mentors are there to give you guidance and give you advice. So go to those calls with a list and a topic ready to discuss. We are asking the mentors to meet with the mentees at least twice biweekly, so twice a month for 30 minutes. But that can be flexible based on whatever arrangement you need. So if you need more time with your mentor, if you want weekly discussions, you can ask them for that. But you are required to meet with your mentor every other week for at least 30 minutes. So I would definitely make sure that I would totally utilize that time and make sure you're taking full advantage of it. Now, your mentors, most of them would be credentialed actuaries working in the field. So they won't have as a fresh knowledge on the material. So I wouldn't expect them to give you guidance or help you on the material, but they would be able to give you guidance on what should you do differently if you feel like you don't have the stamina to keep studying, or you have a conflict between classes and those type of issues that may pop up. That's what you talk to your mentor about and get clarity on. Any questions?
Yeah, Kayla, have I had the name right? So if you already have a mentor from the mentorship program, is this one going to be different from the mentor you already have?
That's a good question. So I would think yes, because the way we seek these exam prep mentors, we tell them specifically they're mentoring students for exam prep. So the mentor you have could definitely do both, but most students that enter this program, they don't have a mentor through IBA. So if you have a mentor already, we can probably just add them to the program so they're being acknowledged for being an exam prep mentor. So Emmanuel, if you can you email Morgan and let her know that you currently have a mentor and your mentor is through IBA?
The name is Eric, and my mentor is yes, through IABA. Like I just got here last week.
Okay. Okay, yes. So if you can let Morgan know that you have a mentor through IBA, and maybe you can use the same mentor for your exam prep. So yeah, please email her and explain that to her. And I'm going to take notes on that too. And this is Emmanuel, the last name. Okay, so we have two Emmanuels on here. What's your last name?
My name is Eric.
Oh, pardon me, Eric. Eric. Okay, Eric. Okay. All right, someone has their hand. Yes, Kevin?
I was just wondering, when do you think exactly will start like the studying process of like the FM exam? Because I'm already studying for another one, so I was wondering when is the timing of that FM exam starting, like in terms of studying?
Yes, so we're starting kickoff for this program on March 27th. So March 27th, March 28th, we expect students to have access to coaching actuaries and starting to study.
Thank you.
No problem. You're welcome. Okay.
Sorry, I wanted to ask something. Is it possible to run two exams at the same time?
Let's see, was this Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's possible, yes. Is it recommended? It depends, but I would say that the average student studying for exams would find it very challenging to study for two exams at the same time, especially if there's no similarities between the two exams. So it could depend. If you have an exam where maybe the exams have some type of connection, then it may be easier, but we tend to advise to study one exam at a time, just so that you're not overwhelmed as it is. I mean, these exams are tough and the exams could be totally different. It would depend on the exams, but I would say that it's advised just to study for one exam at a time. But it's possible, it's doable to pass both.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the exam, I think I mentioned the timeline. So exam kickoff would be March 27th. The exam would run for 20 weeks long. The sitting would be from August. I'm going to give you the exact dates. It's early August to mid-August. So the exact dates aren't here, but it's in August. And we asked that the students would be in America at the time of the exam, because you have to go in person to take the exam. So I know with travels and we have international students, we just asked that the students will be in the US or Canada from start of program to finish. I think I hit everything. In general, again, this meeting was just an informal, informational, just to answer any questions. The next meeting we have would be the kickoff meeting, and that's going to be in March. And then that's when we're going to go over a more formal process. We're going to ask the students to introduce themselves. We're going to go through a PowerPoint with you all. We're going to introduce and do an overview over coaching actuaries, show you how to use the tool. We also have some spreadsheets that we ask the students to fill out. So when you're studying for your exams and you are tracking your hours studied, we ask you to use this Google Sheet, and you're going to fill out your study schedule and how many hours you studied. So that can just keep you accountable and keep you on track. And we also give you our emails, contact information. The students will also be given access to a platform where you all could network and just chat. I believe the app or the platform is called GroupMe. So it's pretty common amongst college students where they can just form these group chats and communicate that way. But basically, I think that's all that I really had. Any other questions? I guess I can add that. Pardon?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
How many students are you going to accept for this program?
So we really don't have a hard cap on how many students. It just depends on how many students are applying, or because we don't have a firm cap. I would say in the past, we've had between 15 to 20 students start the program. And that's not based on any restrictions that IBA has. It just depends on the application process and the students who qualify. But generally, it's about 15 to 20 students that enter the program.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I was just going to add, I mentioned earlier that the two actuarial organizations here in America and well, it's not in Canada, just in America, there are two. And in Canada, they have their own, I forgot what it's called, but in America, the two actuarial organizations, they have their different exam tracks. And they are, the CAS has 10 exams you have to pass to become a fully credentialed actuary. We call those actuaries fellows. That means they've gotten their actuarial fellowship. And then we have associate actuaries, which means that thank you, the Canadian Institute of Actuaries. Thank you for that. So they have their exam track, and then the SOA, they have an exam track, and I'm not as crisp on how many exams they need. I'm part of the CAS, but I think they have modules they have to take. So they don't have as many exams, but they have some modules like courses they have to take. But overall, I believe the average time it takes an actuary to become a fellow is about 7 years. And again, that's just a flexible average. It depends on the student's speed. You have some students who can get their credentials in 4 years, and you have some that may take 15 years. It just depends on that student and their time commitment. So it's exam FM is the exam that we're studying for, financial mathematics. That's only one exam out of, at least 7 exams that you will have to take. It's, we hope that we can build a foundation for you all in this program where you could find the right formula for you to self-study, because these exams do take a lot of self-studying. You could take classes for these exams, which helps, but there are going to be times where you have, and that's just what makes this exam journey very challenging. you have peers you can network and you can group with. That's what we hope that we can, form with this program. But we do want to make sure that students at least have the right tools to build these muscles, because these exams are challenging. So with that, I think that's all that I have. Any other questions that you may have?
Yeah, hello, Kayla.
Yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to ask. So for example, let's say if when you started the exams, you weren't quite decided on whether you want to do PNC or you want to do life. And then you started with SOA, and maybe you've taken like the first and then the second exam. Can you just jump to the third exam for CAS, or you have to go through some process?
Thank you. It's your training minutes.
Yes, that's a great question. So fortunately, the first two exams, FM and exam P, those are in both societies. So if you took either track, you started with the first two, then you could go to the other organization and start from their third exam. The third exam is when it splits and it becomes different. So let's say if you so happen to study for 5 exams on the SOA side, then you will have to retake 3, 4, and 5 for the CAS.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Alrighty. Any other questions about IBA in general? Exam prep program? The actuarial exam process? Okay, well, I really hope this was helpful to you all, and I hope that you all apply, and I hope you all are accepted and continue your journey. It's very rewarding. It's a very rewarding field, and it just, these exams, we will overcome them. So if you have any questions, I'm going to give you my email. I'm going to drop my email in the chat. You can email myself or you can email Morgan. She's also available to answer any questions you may have pertaining IBA in general. She is the IBA student coordinator, so she has access to a lot of different tools and resources directly. And you have any questions regarding IBA exam prep program, please feel free to reach out to me. All right, so I dropped my email in the chat. I'm just going to hang tight for about a minute so you can grab it, and then I'll end the meeting. All right, everyone, you have a great evening. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Yeah.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.